Hi BookTube, I hope you're all doing well. I'm Tash from That Tash Reads, and today I thought I would do the How I Read book tag. I saw Jason over at Weird Reads do this during the week and that looked like fun, so I thought I might do it myself. This was a tag first done by Enya's Corner. Question 1, how do you find new books to read? I find new books in a variety of different ways. There's no one place that I find them. I find out about new stuff here on BookTube, friends who recommend me stuff, my partner likes to tell me about the books that he's reading and books that he's found out about. Goodreads, I used to find a lot of books through the Goodreads recommendations pages there. That was always a great way of finding things that I may not have found in bookshops, because our bookshops here in Australia are a little bit lacking sometimes. Though in saying that though, I do often go to the bookshop to find new books and just wander around. It's just they're nothing like they used to be 10 or so years ago after the collapse of borders. The other place that I've been finding books recently has been through Kickstarter. I've recently backed Planet Bastard and Occult Detective on there, as well as a few other short story anthologies. I've been loving most things that have been coming out there. It's been a great way for me to locate up and coming authors that may not normally appear in their publishers' newsletters or their small print publishers, and I just find it's just an interesting way of me finding new authors that I may not have heard before, and I can go explore them and all that kind of stuff. So that's how I find my books. Question 2, how did you get into reading? I've been reading all my life. It's not something I've never not done. My parents encouraged me to read an awful lot when I was young, and it's just something that I continued to do. I was always that kid that hung out in the library. We had tons of books at home, so I've always been surrounded by books. I've always been a reader, and it's just something that I continue to keep on with me into adulthood. There's no one series, there's no one particular time in my life. It's just books have always been there, and that's just what I've always done. Question 3, how has your taste in books changed as you've gotten older? I guess in my mid-20s I started reading classics. It's not something I read much as a child. Like, I never read Jane Austen in high school. I never read Jane Eyre. While I did grow up reading you know, the Seven Little Australians and Heidi and the Laura Ingalls books and Eaton Blyton books, because they were what was around, given to me by my mum, I never read the classics. Another thing that I've noticed over the years, especially in the last couple of years, coming out of university, reading a lot of contemporary there, I'm not as likely to pick up contemporary as I was before university. It's possible that it's just a phase that I'm going through at the moment, but in contrast to picking up a little less contemporary, I've been picking up a lot of weird fiction recently. You know, the occult detective stuff. I have been reading the Hellblazer graphic novels. I've been reading just a lot of more weird horror fiction, supernatural horror. I've been gravitating to that a little bit. There's a couple of reviews on some of those books coming up. But yeah, for some reason, I've always read science fiction and fantasy. As of the last couple of years, as I'm in my 30s now, I'm going into some of the more mature horror, and I guess I'm being a little more okay with being afraid than I used to be. In saying that, I still like to pick up contemporaries, still like to pick up science fiction, I still like to pick up fantasy, still love picking up speculative fiction, but I am now starting to delve a little bit more into the horror and weird fiction. So I guess my tastes are just expanding as I get older. Question 4, how often do you buy books? Regularly. It depends on what you classify as a book. I subscribe to a lot of short story magazines, so I guess I'm getting something monthly. In terms of books itself, I go through phases. Like May, for example, has been a lot of books I've brought, because I had the Clunes Booktown Festival, and there was the Book Grocer warehouse sale that I haven't done a video or a book haul on. Stuff comes through from Kickstarter on a regular basis. So there's always new books coming in terms of going into a store or going onto the book depository. Sometimes it could be months, sometimes it could be every week I'm getting something. It really depends on my schedule and my budget. So irregularly, but often. There's always something new coming in. Question 5, how did you get into BookTube? To be honest, I'd known BookTube existed for a couple of years and had watched a couple of videos here and there, but I really started watching it again this year and just really getting into talking about books and listening to people talk about books. And then one day it's just like, I'm gonna do this, and then a week later I had a video, I uploaded it, and I was there, and now I'm booktubing. It's been, for me, a progression of wanting to talk about books and not knowing how to do it or where to go, and just really starting and getting out into it. I'm having fun. I'm loving it. It's becoming a new habit for me, just thinking a little bit more about the books, and that's what I wanted to do, and that's why I got into it. Question 6, how do you react when you don't like the end of a book? Well, I guess I get disappointed, but I don't really get angry. I'm not really a book thrower across the room kind of person. I guess it's the same way I act when I don't like the ending of a movie. I will talk to people about it, I'll be frustrated, and then I move on. I get frustrated, I get angry, I think about how they could have done it differently and remember that, so when I get around to writing stuff, I don't do it. Question 7, how often have you looked towards the back of the book to find out the ending while you're reading the book? Regularly. While I say regularly, I mean anytime a book for me gets a bit tough in the middle and I want to know how it's going to end, or isn't even worth getting to the end, I might sneak back there. Usually I don't just, read whole sections. I'll look out for a few words and go, okay, well, it looks like, this might be leading that way, and we'll see what happens. Or more often than not, it really encourages me to try and finish it because I want to know how they get there. It's not very often I read the end and I go, yeah, I'm not interested. Last and final question is, who do you tag? I wasn't actually tagging this myself, but I consider anybody who's turned around and said, anybody who wants to do this tag. So anyone who wants to do this tag. My cat has just walked into the room, so let's tag her. Hey, Maddie. Say hi to BookTube, Maddie. She's just woken up from a nap and decided, I think, to come and check out what all the fuss is about. So if you liked this video, or if you want to see more of Maddie, please click like and subscribe down below. Have a great weekend, and Maddie says nice to meet you all.